To refurbish this lock mechanism, which is a Locksmaster 2-hook and anti-lift pin mechanism, using the parts from the refurb kit, we'll begin by removing the central gearbox. The central gearbox on this mechanism is fixed with 3 T20 torque screws. You'll notice the central torque screw is shorter. With the 3 screws removed, the gearbox will fall off the back of the mechanism, and we can move on to removing our top hook and anti-lift bolt case. This is secured with 2 T20 torque screws. Of the longer type, and our bottom hook and anti-lift bolt case. The drive rods are captive and retained on these mechanisms, so you shouldn't have to worry about those falling off. And again, the bottom hook and anti-lift bolt case is secured with 2 T20 torque screws, so we can go and remove those and take off all of our old hardware. So we can now retain our faceplate and drive rods and begin rebuilding this using the components from the rebuild kit. So our refurb kit in this case consists of our central gearbox, which is a double spindle, not a single spindle version, double spindle latch and deadbolt. So again, that's a deadbolt case, not a hook bolt case. Central gearbox and hook and anti-lift pin top and bottom cases, and these are fixed to the mechanism with T20 torque screws, all of which are the same length with the exception of one which is shorter, and that will be the central fixing for the gearbox for the central lock case. So the middle fixing is the shorter screw, and we've got hook and anti-lift cases top and bottom, and a latch and deadbolt gearbox with double spindle in this kit. So to begin our reassembly process and refurbishing our lock with the components from the refurb kit, we'll start with the central gearbox, making sure it's in the unlocked position, and with the gearbox sitting upright with the latch and the deadbolt facing up, we'll lay our faceplate back on top. What we're looking to do here is locate these 90-degree returns into some slots in the operating plate in the gearbox. So these slots are here and here, some small notches that are cut out of those plates, and those 90-degree returns should sit in those. So we'll lay it on top and locate those returns in those notches. Sit our latch and deadbolt in the apertures. And when it's all lined up, it should pop in and sit flush. And now we remember that our central screw is our smaller screw. So we'll start with that one. And get our first fixing in. And then 2 further T20 Torx screws, one top and one bottom. Being careful not to over tighten these as they are cast where those threads are. Once those are secure, we can move on to our top hook and anti-lift bolt case. So our top hook and anti-lift bolt case, you can see from the position of the apertures what way up that goes. So the anti-lift bolt for this top remote locking point is closest to the latch, goes towards the gearbox. So looking in here, in the unlock position, there's our anti-lift bolt, and we want that at this end to line up with the aperture. And looking on the drive rod, we can see this T section on the drive rod, and the T section sits with the top of the T sitting across these notches, these small notches on the operating plates inside. So sit it on its back and manipulate the anti-lift bolt into the aperture, and then looking through the side, just line that T section up with those notches. You can use the roller to get those in. Check that the hook's lined up in that window, and when it's all sitting flush, 2 T20 Torx screws, one top and one bottom. And we can repeat this process now for our bottom hook and anti-lift bolt case. So here's our bottom lock case, this time opposite. So our anti-lift bolt, little square dead bolt here, the window for that is now furthest away from the gearbox, which is down there. So line that up in the window, and again we have this T-shaped section on the back of the drive rod, and that's going to locate this time into these notches at the hook end of the lock case. So from the side, get the anti-lift bolt lined up in the aperture first. Then check that that T section is sitting nicely in those notches, and that it's sitting nice and flush with the hook bolt in the hook bolt aperture. And then it's 2 T20 Torx screws for this one. And there we have our double spindle Locksmaster 2 hook, 2 anti-lift bolt, latch and deadbolt mechanism, repaired using the contents of the refurb kit.